Hey guys, Bodybuilding Gamer here for another review for all my brothers and sisters from the grew up in the 80s and 90s and want to take a trip down memory lane. Today we're going to be doing Robocop, the original 1987, which by the way is the same year that Predator came out. So imagine what that must have been like. For anybody who was a teenager at that time that got to see this in theaters. Same with Predator. So what can I say about Robocop? I'm reviewing the movie because it's one of my favorite movies as well, and the Robocop game is actually coming out for PlayStation 5. I'm not sure if it's coming out for any other systems, but it's coming out for PlayStation 5, and I'm really excited about that. I'll be reviewing that game when it comes out, or if I pick it up soon after. Robocop synopsis, quick synopsis, if you haven't seen it or if you've seen it and kind of forgot about it. Again, just like Predator, it's another really pretty simple story, but it has a lot of nuance to it, and there's a lot of, it's directed by Paul Verhoeven, who I believe is a Dutch director, and this is his first, again, just like with John McTiernan, who somehow on his first big Hollywood movie miraculously made one of the best sci-fi movies ever, sci-fi action movies ever. Paul Verhoeven does the same thing. He did some other movies before. I think he did a movie called The Fourth Man, which is in another language, it's in his native language, which was very well received. And then they hired him to do Robocop. There's a lot of trivia with these movies, especially with Robocop, that I'm not going to have time to cover on this review because I'm keeping these reviews, these short reviews, around 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm not going to get into, like, for example, the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to be Robocop, but he was too big and bulky for the suit, so they had to go with somebody else. But anyways, the quick synopsis of the movie: police officer Alex Murphy is a police officer in Detroit. I think he's kind of like a rookie, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. And you know, he wants to be like he wants to be. I get the feeling that he kind of wants to be like a hero cop for his son, and you know, his son watches some guy named TJ Laser on TV, and he like twirls his gun, and so Alex Murphy keeps practicing trying to twirl his gun. So he goes out on a call with his partner, and he gets violently murdered. And then they take him to the hospital, and they try to revive him, and then he dies. And then he gets I don't know how they got clearance from his. I don't even think they don't really go into the legality of it, of whether they even asked his wife. They didn't actually. They did it. I don't know how they did it, but they used him for the Robocop program. So pretty much, I think they just have his face, his brain, and that's it. The rest of him is all machine. And he's supposed to just be a machine that goes out and follows orders. He has his prime directives, you know, to protect and serve and stuff like that, protect the innocent. And then as time goes by, he starts to remember, get remnants of his past. It's actually a pretty heavy. It's pretty sad and emotional in some ways if you when you watch it. Like when he starts to kind of remember his life and to slowly starts to kind of regain his humanity. And as the movie progresses, he starts to it gets triggered off by when he sees one of the guys that actually murdered him, and he remembers him, and it starts to spark his memory. And as this is happening, there's also a bit of a conflict with OCP. OCP is the corporation, Omnicorp Products. They're the corporation that made him, and they're upset now because, you know, he's having nightmares. He's going off protocol. He's not doing. They don't want a machine that's unpredictable. They want it to do exactly what they want it to do. But he's not a machine. He's a man. He's a man that was made into a machine that's remembering that he was a man. It's a beautiful story, in my opinion. And like I said, I like to keep the synopsis short. I'll let you guys watch the movie. Basically, long story short, he completely finds himself by the end of the movie, and he goes after the guys that killed him. When I get more experience with this YouTube thing, I'll do a much longer, in-depth review of RoboCop. Where I'll show you clips of the movie and I'll talk about it and I'll give you all the trivia. I'll make it longer for anybody who wants to watch a longer video. This is just something quick. What is good about RoboCop? Why do I love it so much? They've tried to remake this movie. They did one in 2014, I think. I went to see it in theaters. It just, the trailer for it was awesome. I thought it was going to be amazing, but it just didn't deliver. The suit was no good. He already knew from the beginning who he was, so there wasn't. What was there to see? There was no. I didn't feel that there was any need for the character to develop. He was already who he was, and now he's a machine, and it was very disappointing. I don't really recommend it. It's got some good parts in it, but disappointing. What I think makes this movie so good is, and I know some of this because of the behind the scenes commentaries that I've seen, is that director Paul Verhoeven takes a lot of his flair, his touch, his European touch, but he doesn't overdo it, and he's balanced by the guys that he works with that are from the United States. So they're able to make the movie for the American audience, for the North American audience, but it has that flair of the European style of filmmaking. And the big thing of that is the satire. This is like a ultra-violent, satirical, science fiction, slight comedy. It almost has every genre in it. The special effects are amazing. All the practical effects. Rob Bottin designed the robo suit. There's the suit is amazing. Like, it just, when he walks around with the sound effects that they add to it, he's like very heavy, like almost like a mammoth, like a tank. It's very beautifully done, and when you watch it, it's just you got to give so much credit to the actors for what they did. Like Alex Murphy, his movements, his mannerisms, the way that he behaves. The camera work's amazing. The special effects. I don't think there's no like CGI or anything in the movie. It's all practical effects. There's only one dodgy effect, in my opinion, in the entire movie, and it's at the very end of the movie for like a second. That's the only dodgy effect. There's another robot in the movie that Robocop has to face, Ed 209, and he's awesome too. The scene between them is really cool. It's really almost like director Paul Verhoeven talked about how it's almost like a biblical Jesus-like figure for RoboCop, like it's like a resurrection. Even at the end of the movie, when you see him, there's a scene where he's walking on water. So that's pretty not transparent at all, or that's pretty transparent, right? So you can see what he was trying to do with the movie. If you like great action, if you like well-staged violent action scenes in a movie, if you like practical effects, if you like great acting, if you like satire, they satire the American economy, politics, vehicles, board games. They just satire the entire culture at that time, which is very, very interesting to watch. I don't think this movie would have succeeded at all without director Paul Verhoeven. I think his touch, his flair, is what made it work. I also don't think it would have worked if it wasn't for Rob Bottin's design of RoboCop's suit, and I don't think it would have worked without the actors that they chose. I can't believe I'm blanking out on RoboCop's name. I know his name. It's just, for some reason, it's not clicking into my brain right now. But yeah, amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Absolutely, I think you'll like it. Especially with the upcoming Robocop game, which has the same actor voicing Robocop, which is friggin' awesome. And I'll do another review of this. Another review of this as soon as I get more experience, and I could do a longer video and with edits and cuts and all that kind of stuff. But what do you think of Robocop? What do you think of Robocop? Is it one of your favorites? What do you think of? What do you think of it in terms of where does it sit in terms of the 80s action movies? To me, I would have to put this in the top 5, along with Predator. I'll be doing a review of Robocop 2 next. I actually like Robocop 2 a lot. It doesn't hit the same as much as the first one, because the first one is very satirical, and it has, this one is like an onion. It has multiple layers. The second one is more paint by the numbers action flick. There's a little bit of satire, but it feels a bit contrived. It doesn't feel as genuine and as natural as the satire in this one. Everything else is really good, like the suit. I'm one of the very few people who likes the suit in the second one that has a purple glare to it, like a shinier purple tinge to it. And Robocop 2, Kane in the second one is actually a really good villain as well, very menacing. But again, just like with Predator, which I love, a lot of people don't like Predator 2, which I love. And just like with Robocop, which I love, a lot of people don't like Robocop 2, but I like it. I like it. I think it's really good. It's not as good as this one, obviously, but it's still pretty damn good, especially compared to the movies that come out today. So, as a big movie buff, as somebody who's watched so many movies and knows so much about them, I can tell you that this is one of the best movies ever made. Not just as an action movie, but as a satire and it's almost as a political movie too. It has messages about politics, and the craftsmanship behind the film, the music, the cinematography, the direction, the lighting, the action set pieces, the robo suit, his movements, just classic. You feel it. You don't feel these new movies. Everything's CGI, everything's in a green small room, everything looks so fake. This is like genuine. This is real stuff. This is the stuff that'll stand the test of time. So let me know what you think of Robocop. Again, you're gonna be hearing a lot of good reviews for the movies that I'm reviewing, especially in the beginning, because they're my top favorite. So I give Robocop 5 out of 5 biceps. You should check it out. And from the Bodybuilding Gamer, stay pumped.